Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads, Season 2, Episode 12, where we're going to discuss why Bloodborne and Plants vs. Zombies are relevant literally today. What? Stay tuned.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined, as always, by Patrick, the man without whom none of this would actually happen. I would probably just be, like, sitting somewhere talking. Like, I would probably talk into a camera, and it would glitch out.
You'd probably
and then, like, the audio would, like, mess up. I mean, we had Kurt on one time.
We did have Kurt on one time. We'll see.
Yeah, like this guy, like if there is anything like quality about what happens here, it's because of this man right here.
I don't know about that, but we'll see how it goes when you do the show on your own.
Yeah.
Quick bit for those of you who don't know. I will be moving in about 2 weeks. Actually, less than 2 weeks. So next show will be kind of a hurrah, and we're gonna
next week is gonna be a blast.
We're gonna party a little bit. The following week, Kevin will be on his own because I will still be in the process of moving. After that, we will be doing the show remotely. So I will be either Google Hangouts or however we want to do it. We'll still keep doing the show. We won't be sitting next to each other physically.
And honestly, for our audio listeners, of whom we know there are quite a few,
yes.
Not much is going to change because it's just going to be our voices continuing to do stuff. But yeah. for the video, it'll probably take a little bit of wrangling to figure out in the next couple of weeks how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But like you said, next week is going to be kind of a big hurrah episode. We're going to be recording a little bit later at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. So for those of you who want to join us, I'm going to be drinking. I think you're going to be.
I'll drink a little bit.
Okay,
yeah.
So we're gonna have drinks. We're gonna have parties. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, a couple of people come and hang out in the chat.
Yeah.
And we will do the news, and then we'll do kind of a retrospective on the show in general and how much we've enjoyed it. And so, if you want to join us for that, definitely show up at 2 p.m. Central. And we will see you there.
A very special show. But this show is still special as well.
Yes.
Because we have interesting news. Valkyria Chronicles 4 coming to the Switch, which the Switch is showing that it is everything that developers need for this new market, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a kind of a different place when it comes to microtransactions and everything else, and I think the Switch has shown if you make a decent console, it does not matter. Microtransactions don't matter. Having multiplayer-centric games don't matter as much.
Yeah,
what matters is games, the story, and the gameplay.
Yeah, and another thing this is coming to PS4, Xbox, and Switch. And that's the thing is, like, a lot of people, because, a lot of us are playing on handheld and everything,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, if it's at a lower resolution, it's okay. I mean, it's right here in front of your face.
Skyrim is at 900p.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's much less jarring to be dealing with that on a handheld, mm-hmm. and the convenience of handheld allows you to do a lot more things with it. And we're letting publishers know by buying these things on Switch that we're fine with the fidelity. Do what you got to do, but bring it to Switch.
Exactly.
And different developers are finding different ways to do it.
Exactly. And some developers are listening to their fans.
Absolutely.
Like CD Projekt Red in regards to Cyberpunk.
Who always has. Because, I mean, like, when Witcher 3 came out,
mm-hmm.
there was a big kerfuffle about, it's microtransactions and garbage. And CD Projekt Red was like, hey, so we're going to give you like 13 or 14 pieces of DLC just for free, so just hang out and wait for that.
Yeah.
And then their DLC plans after were like massive single-player editions. Yeah. And so one of their executives was talking about Cyberpunk 2077, mm-hmm. and he said some things that kind of led people to believe that it was going to be more microtransaction-y. And so CD Projekt Red reached out to be like, look, this is not about greed.
Yeah.
We're not looking to milk you for everything that you have. We're looking to make the best game possible.
Exactly.
And, you know, whatever that means, you know, we are looking at trends in gaming, but at the same time, you are our priority.
Yeah.
And we want to make that clear. And I absolutely believe them, because they have consistently shown themselves to be a publisher about their consumers. Go figure.
Yeah, I love the insert. Like, if you get I think it's the Witcher 3 like collector's edition. It has an insert. They've done this in the past as well, but the Witcher 3 like collector's edition, it's like, you know, thank you so much for getting this. We put a lot of heart into this. We included all like 13 DLC packs. Like everything is in here, and we want you to you know, appreciate it, and they're thanking you for your purchase. And it's a very heartfelt thing, which other publishers don't really care about. They just want your money.
Actually, Three Fields Entertainment, the Dangerous Golf and Danger Zone guys, they actually have, like, when you start up their game, it shows like a picture of the dev team, and they're like, "Thank you for buying this game. We appreciate it."
Yeah.
And then it starts
in
again.
Danger Zone, but I know in the others of that it did. But I think that this will be gone by the time this show airs for our podcast, the PlayStation Network sale?
No, the PlayStation Network sale will go at least until the store updates.
Oh, okay.
So if you grab it now, the Black Friday deal and the Cyber Monday, like they just kind of rolled it all into one.
Yeah.
You can get Horizon Zero Dawn for like $20. You can get Prey for $20.
Yes.
You can get you can get Wolfenstein 2 for $20 or $30.
Yeah, I think it's $28 or $29, something like that, which is just over Amazon, but that's fine. Injustice 2 is also on there.
Injustice 2 is $20.
And the one that irritates me more than any, because I bought it, and I know that any of these can kind of be in that category, but I bought Shadow of War like literally a week ago, and Shadow of War is now I think it's $25. I bought it for $60.
Okay, I paid $60 for it as well, but I have no problem with that, because I love that game.
It's good.
I love that game a lot. And then Assassin's Creed came out like 2-3 weeks ago, and they knocked $20 off of it. Yeah. So I mean, these are fantastic deals. Highly encourage you to at least browse through, check it out, see what's there. A lot of really new titles are up in there.
Yep.
One that's not, though, is Battlefront 2.
Thankfully.
Well,
I don't want more.
Battlefront 2 has been just the most bizarre story, and it just keeps on developing.
And it's sad, because I really liked the beta. I really enjoyed it, and I want to play this game. But I don't want to give EA money. And you know what I loved was, I think I sent you a text with this. I should have screen capped it for the show. But with all the Black Friday deals going on, people were taking pictures in Walmart and Target and Best Buy. And it's not just one person, everyone. Of the stacks and stacks of Battlefront 2 that's there. And everything else is cleaned out. Wolfenstein's cleaned out. Shadow of War's cleaned out. Everything else is cleaned out. Brand new games are cleaned out. Battlefront 2 is not. And it's because people know about the microtransaction practice, because complaining on this subject actually got something done. The coolest thing about that is, I mean, everyone is complaining, the news got in on it. I don't just mean like IGN, I mean
like
NPR,
mainstream
CNN, and then Bob Iger from Disney contacted EA's CEO and said, "Whatever.
What are you doing? Just stop."
Yeah. So
that's theoretical. Okay, what we know, the facts are that Bob Iger called the head of EA. And less than 24 hours later, microtransactions were removed completely from the game. It's not a huge leap to say that Disney stepped in and said, "Look, everybody's talking trash about these predatory decisions that you've made in your game are directly harming the Disney brand and the Star Wars brand." And on top of that,
movies coming out in less than a month, and I guarantee that Iger was like, if this is what you guys are going to put forward in the future, we're going to revoke your contract. Which they'll.
God, I wish that would happen.
They'll pay penalties for that, but I guarantee that was threatened. Because this is such a lucrative contract. I think that they said, we will back out of the contract and pay all the fines. We don't care.
Yeah.
You can't hurt the brand like that. And Star Wars, you can't do that. They have way too much riding on it.
And we don't have USA numbers, but in the Eurozone, I don't know if it was EU or Great Britain specifically, but they said that sales of Battlefront 2 were down 60. Physical sales of Battlefront 2 were down 60% from the original Battlefront.
Yep.
Which is horrifying for a developer.
Well, first Battlefront it did okay.
It did okay, but it was there was also a lot of hesitancy because I mean, at that point we didn't have episode 7.
Yes.
And so we weren't there was still, we got excited in 2001 and we kind of got burned. What are you doing with this now? And so
they did say for Battlefront 2, we're not going to have any DLC. We're just going to give you everything.
All the DLC will be free.
Which means that you'll have microtransactions and you don't have to pay for DLC, which would be fine had they not made it a pay to pain. That's my new trademark, by the way, because it's not pay to win.
Because there were GameSpot and IGN both did like an $85 and $100 purchase respectively, and it's like it's just a sheer luck of the draw, and what you're getting may help you and it may not.
I've seen people compare it to Hearthstone. However, if you throw $20 at Hearthstone, you get 20 packs of cards. They were comparing it because of the percentage in regards to legendaries and all of that.
Okay.
Except when it comes to Hearthstone, like I have, I think like a handful of legendaries that I rarely use because they're not as consistent.
Yeah.
I use rares and uncommons more than anything else. But I threw $20 at the game shortly after I started playing, and it got me a really good jump start. It probably jump started me a couple months into my play. Now, it wasn't pay to win because other people were doing the same thing.
Right.
And also it's got some chaos to it.
It also gives you a really good... Hearthstone has a fairly good return on the actual cards that you get regularly.
Yes.
And so that's the thing, is like it gives you a head start, but it doesn't give you a massive advantage over the people that have just been playing.
Exactly.
People who tend not to spend money on stuff.
Sure. I think I've spent $30 in total on Hearthstone. I've been playing it for a year and a half, 2 years, however long. New expansion's coming out. I will probably throw down another $25-30 on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I play it every day.
And again, the difference between a free-to-play model and a full $60 game with that same price implementation put on top of it is a problem.
Yeah.
And when the developers are not upfront about what they're choosing to do, how they're choosing to treat their customers, the customers are the people who are building this game, and they are the people who are bringing this into the mainstay and bringing this into public consciousness.
Exactly.
And
you have
word of mouth. And exactly. And if you don't, word's going to get around.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened in Destiny 2 this week, which is our next item on the list. So some of the people who, Destiny players. Okay, I had a friend who was really into Destiny 1, and I went over to his house one time, and I actually saw his literal spreadsheets.
Oh, jeez.
On like how to play this game optimally and how to kind of figure out exactly the best way to get the light and the best and so like this is a culture that Activision created and the gameplay is fun but it's also extremely repetitive and that's okay as long as you are consistently getting rewarded and you feel like you're working towards something.
I agree. I will say I got close to that when Star Wars The Old Republic came out, and the only reason that I got close to it was the slicing mechanic. So the slicing is the Star Wars hacking, and you can send off your companion to do that.
Yep.
And I found that I was getting decent return out of certain quests. Went online, it turns out someone had a spreadsheet, and they were like, here's your returns, here's your averages, here's the ones you want to do, here's the ones you don't want to do.
That's beautiful.
So I did have that, and they, so for probably a month or so, from when the game came out until they nerfed it, I was doing slicing, and I was like crazy rich because I would send off my companions. I got my character level high enough level. I got a couple characters high enough level. Sent all their companions off to Slice, and then I would go watch a movie or whatever. And I had a little timer on my phone, and I'd go back and I'd send them off to do it again. And I could do that while I was doing anything else. So I was playing the game when I wasn't playing the game, and that's when they nerfed it.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, the internet. The internet has a lot of garbage,
yes.
and there's a lot of things that are horrible and toxic about the internet. We tend to view the internet as kind of a toxic cesspool.
Yep.
But there are certain communities and groups of people who have been able to create amazing things, like the project where they're working on learning to fold proteins.
Yeah.
I mean, like the power of internet communities can be harnessed for good.
Yeah.
Can be harnessed to figure out what's going on behind the scenes in a game.
Yeah.
And somebody took the number of pixels across the screen that you're supposed to be able to get for completing a mission, and calculated like how much they were getting per mission. Noticed that it was going down to a point where Bungie was actually only giving you 4% of the experience toward the next Bright Engram that you should have been earning, and that they told you were earning. Not only that, but on your very first public mission, the amount of experience that you get from the public mission is enough to trigger a 50% nerf.
I didn't know that.
And squashes the amount of experience that you get. And somebody did it. They figured out all the details, and Bungie said. So Bungie came out and said, all right, look, we've looked at the mechanic, and we don't think that it's working the way that it's intended. It was supposed to reward you for doing PvP, and experience was supposed to increase as you did PvP, and it was supposed to decrease as you did I believe the phrase they used was easily chainable events, such as public events and such. And so basically they're trying to keep people who do the spreadsheet approach to Destiny and try to figure out the optimal way to play.
Yeah.
And they were trying to slow those people down.
Exactly.
And they didn't apologize. They said that system has been removed.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're taking pot shots at your most developed, not most developed, your most devoted followers.
Yeah.
That's not okay, and
agree.
that's a system that makes people not trust you.
Yeah.
And as we saw with the sales of Battlefront 2 and the way that has rolled out, these things have literal financial consequences for you.
Yeah.
Be more like CD Projekt Red.
Exactly.
Come on.
And I will say, I've told you this in the past. I'm guilty of fudging numbers like this when we play Pathfinder. But I'm doing it for the better of the story.
Yeah.
And because when I didn't, we had situations where we had one-shot kills of gods and all kinds of things. So. Yeah. So I started fudging the numbers, but that's different because of the transparency. Because I let people know. Well, afterwards, I'm like, hey, it's really funny because it didn't go the way I thought it would go. Also, I'm doing that on a person-to-person basis. This is not a blanket statement of to everyone.
Well, the other thing is you've let me kill two boss fights in one shot, and then
one was really creative,
and one you said that I couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to work on that, but
I'm going to tell that real quick. Okay, so for those of you who are into Pathfinder and stuff, we had a giant Frankenstein's monster type creature.
Yeah, he was a flesh golem. Yeah,
right. And so because he had been a friendly up to a point, and so there's not a resist on breathe water. I touched him and applied that because my character, being an android, thought that stopping breathing would just be a peaceful way to let this guy just drift off, and turned out that was not the case. Nope. And he strangled to death and died horribly, and it was not pretty.
Did a little damage on the way out.
But Patrick said, as the DM of that group, was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And I was like, that's okay. My character was never going to do that because he didn't anticipate the amount of pain and suffering that he was going to be inflicting. So not only was it removed as an option from the DM's perspective, but we figured out a story way to do it.
Well, I mean, it was creative. It was a sudden situation, and I feel like it was a panic by the character, which worked for the story. So
fun fact, I've been sitting on that since since we got to the dock.
Oh, sitting on what, the power?
Whenever we got to the dock, I came up with that idea.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well,
I've been waiting for the right time to use it.
Well,
like when it would make the most sense for the story.
Because he was a flesh golem that was created to essentially try to revitalize or be as close to a god as possible.
Right.
He broke out. Everyone befriended him, and then he realized, oh, my friends, the only people who care about me are actually going to basically take me somewhere to lock me up. And then he went off on them, which makes
that's justified. I'll give you that.
But what's also justified is Sea of Thieves. Everyone needs to play this game.
Yes,
I can't wait for this. So the beta, sign up for the beta if you haven't already. You need to sign up by December 1st.
Yes. And this time it's completely open. They've been giving us little snippets and little pieces, and it was fairly easy to sign up before. They started out with like 2,000, and then they increased it to like 20,000 people in the last open. Quasi-open alpha.
I'm so happy. They haven't announced when it's going to start.
Right.
They said sign up is by December 1st, so I'm hopeful that it'll start towards the end of the year. But I can't wait for this. I mean, I love Black Flag. I love pirate stuff, and I love the quirkiness of like Monkey Island.
And this is rare, right?
It is rare.
Yeah. So and they have amazing ideas, and I've really enjoyed watching the people who are playing. This is kind of like with the Play Link on PlayStation. It's like getting the ideas of, now that split screen is not so much a thing anymore. Let's figure out what we can do to bring people together to play games. Even people who are not necessarily into games.
Exactly.
We're hoping to do a playthrough of Hidden Agenda within the next week or two. And Knowledge is Power. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, it's like a quiz game, and like you run your characters around like Mii's, and like you jump onto what you think is the answer, and you can like throw goo at people and make their screen all
interesting
stuff.
Is this on the PlayStation?
On PlayStation Network, and it's available now. So
nice.
I'm hoping to check out some of those and let you know as our audience which are the good ones.
Yeah.
But I like this newest advance into what can we do with these now that everybody has a smartphone, and we can just throw it up on the network and do it.
And Jackbox proved that it is very addictive. It is very fun, and you can involve people who would never play games normally because they look at a controller.
And Sea of Thieves is kind of like a crossover because it is about the community's involvement and the interaction between the players as much as it is about the game, and it's designed to foster that sense of a mini community within the game.
Speaking of community, a new boss was discovered in Bloodborne, which is just crazy that it took, a year and a half? 2 years? How long? When does Bloodborne come out?
Bloodborne was before Dark Souls 3, so that was like March of 2015.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so this guy was actually in the trailer, in one of the trailers pre-release.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They thought, and so we all thought that it was cut content.
Okay. And it's through the Chalice Dungeons,
Through the Chalice Dungeons. Yep. And there's actually a code, I think I tweeted it out. There's actually a code where you can put this code in and you can go find it.
That's
because there are still Chalice Dungeon groups who are going through trying to find all the secrets because of the random generator that's involved in the creation of them. There's still stuff to be discovered, and
I can't wait to go back to that game because I'm going through my Dark Souls playthrough, so I have to play Bloodborne, and I can't wait to go back to that.
Yeah, it's a magnificent game. Tyson actually got to the bottom level and killed the Queen of Yharnam.
Wow!
Like I actually got to watch that, and that was really fun.
Wow!
But yeah, so again, communities built around certain games, built around passions, and that's what we're looking to build here. Is we're looking to build a community, and we are slowly but surely growing.
We are. Sure, you said it. Slowly but surely. But we have good fans, though. I like our fans.
We do.
I like our fans.
I also like single player content.
I love single player content, and the fact that Gran Turismo is bringing a single player campaign is fantastic, because I'm tired of racing games. But if you give me a reason
that is
as
the
to
understatement of this podcast.
Okay, but if you give me a reason as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, that it gives you, it's the carrot on a stick. Like, it keeps me going, as opposed to just one more race. It's got to be more than just a race. I'm gonna get bored. I like campaigns. I like story. I like progression, and you can progress in many different ways. And to have a single player campaign is great for that. I think that it's also a great learning tool to get you into racing, to get you into the game mechanics. So then when you go into multiplayer, you know what you're doing. I think single player in regards to Call of Duty and all that used to be a glorified tutorial. I don't mean glorified. I mean it was still long. But it showed you everything you were going to experience in the game, and then the multiplayer was just playing with those things you found.
Yeah.
And but I should say, single player used to be the only thing. Then it became a tutorial.
Well, I mean, Gran Turismo in the beginning, I mean, all you had was single player because our consoles weren't connected.
Yeah.
But so basically what they've put in for this is like you've got the like you said, the tutorials, the license tests, and those are cool.
Yeah.
They're really hard, but you can reach a point where you're like, yes, I know how to corner well, and those skills directly translate into being better at the game.
Yeah.
But the new thing that they've done is they've upgraded it to the point where you're earning new cars, you're checking out new tracks, and so you slowly build your skill.
Yeah.
And this is stuff that very directly translates into an ability to play multiplayer. And so like Tandem Cannon really enjoyed playing Blizzard's game on, they would play against bots.
Which Blizzard game?
The one with Moira and Mercy and everybody.
Oh, that game.
Overwatch. Sorry. Brain fart. Yeah. But yeah, they enjoyed playing Overwatch against bots and everything. But that doesn't necessarily translate well to playing against humans, because humans are going to behave in a different way, and bots tend to be very predictable. But when it comes to racing lines and the way that you approach a track and the way that, because yes, you're going against other people, but trying to figure out how to optimize your turn is something that translates directly whether you're going against bots or humans.
Yeah. I did that. I still do it, and if I'm rusty, I do it on Rocket League. I will do a bots match to work on a specific skill, and I don't care about the score. I don't care about. I'll kick up the time limit really high. Because all I care about is like, okay, I need to perfect this. I need to get better at this, because I'll play multiplayer and realize, I was in this situation. I didn't know how to get out of it. So I'll try to drill that specific mechanic, which can work really well if you do 1v1. 2v2 is kind of weird, but 1v1 lets you. Since you're only having to worry about one person, you can control that situation. Yeah, so I think that it works really well in certain scenarios.
And there's also a lot more about like figuring out the trajectory of the ball, where the ball is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like as you learn that, until you get up to 4v4, which is called chaos mode, and that is completely accurate.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my favorite mode, because then even if I do poorly, I don't have to feel badly about it, because I'm just here to have fun.
I was doing really good at Rocket League, and I mean really good. I was scoring a lot. I was one of the better players on teams for a while, until about, I think, 3 or 4 months into my playing, when everyone started doing aerials, and it's like everyone started cracking down in regards to that, and I wasn't. And I noticed more and more people doing it, and then all of a sudden, I think I went back to it after like 2 weeks or so. And then every single match that I was in, like probably a quarter of the people were doing aerials to stop shots. They were doing aerials, like I would hit the, like, try to block something. They would go up and hit the ball back down. I'm like, no! What?
Was that when PC crossplay was implemented?
It may have been. I don't know.
Because that would do it.
That's probably why. And then shortly after that, Snow Day came out, and I was like, I'm gonna play.
Snow Day was awesome.
So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna play Snow Day. And then Hoops came out, and I was like, okay, let me look and see how this is. I can't do Hoops.
Nope.
I can't do it. You have to. It's too much chaos for me unless you can aerial up and basically what's
slammed up.
Either slam or what's the other layup? Like that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
My favorite is the circle one.
I can't remember
like
that one.
if I could just play that one.
Yeah.
Because that one is just weird fun.
Yeah.
And the angles you come up with. Anyway, we like Rocket League.
I also like Plants vs Zombies. I played this for a good while.
I've actually picked that up on my phone, and I'm trying to play it. I don't know how long that's gonna last.
It didn't last very long for me, but I liked what I played of it. I liked the strategy involved.
Yeah.
And I played it for, I don't know, probably as long as I played Angry Birds. So essentially there was a rumor that EA was trying to fire the creator of Plants vs. Zombies. Now this came... I didn't see all the details on it, but this was in regards to...
I have the details.
You have the details, okay.
I do. So Edmund McMillan was on a podcast I guess the very beginning of last week. And he was talking about his friend George Fan. And he was talking about the way that he approached indie games. And he said that whenever he made Plants vs. Zombies, you know, after he made that, EA picked it up. They're like, we'll take care of this for you. And when they went into Plants vs. Zombies 2, according to Edmund McMillan, when they went into development of Plants vs. Zombies 2, it's very much a pay-to-win type of system. Like you need to be paying money, you have to wait, or you have to grind. Like it's really not a system where you can just keep upgrading your skills and just, you know, get better at the game. You know, get good is not a strategy that works for that one. Yeah. And so he said that they fired him for it. And George Fan actually came on Twitter and he said, here are the facts. I was against Plants vs. Zombies 2 being free to play or pay to win.
Whatever,
yeah. And I got fired by EA. That's all I'm saying on the matter.
Huh.
And then Kotaku did a piece that was reaching out to some of the people at PopCap, and they said that George was actually working on other projects other than PvZ2.
Okay.
But it does reflect the way that EA tends to take games and figure out the optimal way to screw their customers. Sure. And that George Fan, as an independent developer, was like, hey, I don't like this as somebody who likes games. Like, I paid the $3 to remove ads or whatever, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm having fun with this game. Yeah. I'll throw a couple bucks at you. Yeah. And that's the way that I approach free-to-play games. Is like if you've designed this game ethically, where you've just made a good game, and then you have some ads to figure out some revenue, then I will gladly give you cash money from my Google Wallet and be like, here is my gratitude for this thing that you've let me play. And you know, there's whales and everything, but you know, if you design your game around, you know,
microtransactions and
microtransactions,
leeching the public.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
I was trying to come up with the name of the guy from Ishmael. Yeah. If you base your game around trying to find Ishmael, then you're going to have problems.
Yeah, I think Shadow of War did a pretty good job of this because
I agree. Because
I've not had to touch any of the microtransactions.
No, and if you get to the point where you're taking down fortresses and you kill one of the leaders of a fortress, then they'll give you 100 of the premium currency, which is enough to get like 2 or 3 of the super mega legendary whatever. I haven't actually bothered to buy them because I'm still having fun, and I like to I love and humiliate and create my own captains. Yeah. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah. It's a fun game. Check it out because it's on sale. If you totally worth the buy if you're watching this and it's still on sale. I'm sure there'll be other sales to go on throughout the rest of the year because going into Black Friday and everything. But going through Black Friday through Christmas, people are still gonna want your money.
We mentioned the PlayStation sale. Xbox is also having a really substantial sale right now. I don't know how long that's going to last because Xbox has a more erratic
Monday. Yeah,
they have a more erratic schedule of when they update things, and so I can't say for sure that this will still be on sale up until Tuesday. Yeah. I could only say that for sure about the PlayStation one because I know how they work.
A lot of the Microsoft ones were about the same.
Yeah, they were very similar prices for very similar games. It's like the newer stuff. They're trying to get people to be playing the new games because there's not really anything else coming out until spring.
Yep, it's true. I will say, being an Xbox One X owner now, if you see one of these games on X versus PS4, and you happen to have both, go look and see if it's Xbox enhanced for Xbox.
And most of them are,
because a lot of them are. And grab it on there, or check and see people's reviews. But a lot of the ones like Shadow of War and a lot of others, they really took the care in making that enhanced and optimized for the system.
Absolutely.
And playing Assassin's Creed and a lot of these other games, they run better on the Xbox. And I think part of it is that Microsoft is doing anything and everything that they can to stay relevant. Where PlayStation has all these great exclusives.
Yeah.
It's like, how can Microsoft stay relevant? And right now the relevancy is backwards compatibility and making a multi-platform game be better on their system than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Other than PC, obviously. But to say console market, let's make it, this is the place to play a multi-platform game.
Yeah.
And I think that if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to... I've already said this in a text to you. Next year will be the year where Microsoft announces more exclusives, and they're not going to beat PlayStation, but you're going to see an increase in Xbox and sales, which you're already seeing towards the end of this year. So it's going to continue next year, and more exclusives are going to pump out. We're going to hear about those early in the spring, or as like a little teasers, like, hey, we got something. Then E3 is boom.
Yeah, but those games are not coming out for another 2 years, and they're going to have to adopt the PlayStation model of this game's coming out in 2021. Baby, be excited. But the current games that are coming out are, the best place to play them on console is the Xbox One X because it is the tagline most powerful console available right now.
Unless Microsoft does what they've done in the past, which is, hey, we like this developer, and PlayStation does this too, but Microsoft would go, hey, we like this developer, let's sign a contract with them to make sure it's an exclusive game, and then it's out in the end of the year. Boom. Because they can do that, because they'll have developers who are working on something, and Microsoft will go in and say, I will pour all the money into this, you guys can work with our devs to get this working.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
So what independent game are you most looking forward to?
I don't have one that I'm...
See, I'm only asking you that so that I can talk about Hollow Knight. I only found out about this recently. It's been a game it was kickstarted. It's finished. It's out on Steam. Mm-hmm. It's coming to Switch at the beginning of next year.
Okay.
And holy crap, I want to play it. Hollow Knight. It looks absolutely amazing. It looks like a cross between Super Meat Boy and Salt and Sanctuary. It's absolutely gorgeous, and like there's a bunch of different enemies, and you're playing a cute little bunny with devil horns, and it's I want it.
Yeah,
I want to play it. I want it, and I hope that they don't. Grab that exclusively for Xbox, but if they do, I'm still getting it on Switch because that's where I'm going to play it.
Switch is going to be the place to play a lot of these. So.
Then we had one more piece of news, which is Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 is a whore.
Well,
and I mean that in the nicest possible way, because they're throwing him on everything.
Yes.
They threw him on mobile devices.
Yep.
They threw him in.
Well, you know why.
I threw him in a movie. Well, he's pretty.
He's pretty. He's a pretty boy.
He's
very Cloud, but pretty.
He's a very pretty boy.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's like, how can we get this pretty boy into more things? This is the way to do it.
So they're throwing Noctis into Tekken 7.
Mm-hmm. They want him to be Cloud. You can't force that.
Okay.
Don't make fetch happen.
He is a pretty boy, but he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't have the charisma that Cloud did.
Well,
because Cloud had the ability to work it,
mm-hmm.
and he had the gigantic Buster Sword and everything, and we felt for him emotionally because of his story arc, the betrayal that he felt, his situation with Aerith, and because yes, she's Aerith to me.
The fact that he's not who he thinks he is, and that whole storyline,
and Noctis is a pretty boy prince who's kind of full of himself, and he's the douche of the group, and everybody else has to pick up the slack. And then spoilers for Final Fantasy 15. If you've listened this long, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Spoilers for Final Fantasy 15. There's nothing else really coming. This is the last news story. But he disappears for a decade while everybody else has to deal with a demon-infested world, and then he comes back for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
And then dies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And disappears into the ether to be with Luna, and everybody else has to deal with the still demon-infested world because he didn't actually fix anything. That game is jacked up.
That sounds horrible.
It is horrible.
I didn't know that.
I got so mad at the ending.
I mean, if he had sacrificed himself. And it was a Luke the Last Jedi kind of thing where it's like he exiles himself, but then you're like, no, you need to help us, and he comes back, and then he sacrifices himself, and it makes the world better, and it fixes everything. Then that would be great, but he didn't.
No, he just
why die?
Basically, I think he died so that his ancestors could take down the guy, but I don't know why he needed to die so that they could take down the guy. That was never really made clear because he didn't actually kill.
Stupid.
That 15 was broken.
So let us know in the comments if you think 15 was horrible or if it was great, and let us know what indies you're looking forward to. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.